Right, so we serviced the dropper post. It's working like new, so it is. It's good to freshen these up, because if you watched it on the YouTube video, you'll see that the amount of dirt and all that was gathered inside these things, dirt gets past these everywhere. It's good to clean them out and make sure that they're working in top shape, which this one is right now, as you can see. And we'll be putting in a new cable. We've already put a new outer housing in for it, but we're going to put a new inner cable and all. And that there is well serviced. Forks, they were done too. Redone them, and they are like new. They are so smooth. Working as it should be now. And then your compression. Although in these here entry level dampers, there's not much compression in them, but you still feel a bit of difference, like, you know, whenever you have that turned. Yeah, and then you put it there. And the rebound, it's working too. So we're fully closed. This up is slower, as you can see, way slower. And then the damper will always get louder whenever you turn your rebound to the slowest on this type of damper. It's just an entry level damper and closes the wee circuits off. Rockshox are more louder than Fox forks. Just depends what model you have. If you had the ultimate, the one with the low speed compression, it's not as loud. And then we're in the fully open. That air's on. Oh. Feels amazing, so it does. It's going to even feel better back on the bike, but so it is. So that's fully serviced. Was able to also fix the brake here. This here part was broke, and we just swapped the other part from the other brake onto this here. That was fully locked in, so put it on the face to turn it to free it up, and it's working like new. So whenever we attach this, whenever we install everything back on the bike, then we're going to re-bleed both brakes. What I like to do with bleeding, because of the thing, I'm going to do maybe a gravity bleed first to that end. Although I mightn't need to really do that actually, because they're brand new brakes, they've never been used. I'll see when I start doing it, I'll see how bad the oil is, but they've never been used, so a gravity bleed would probably be pointless before I do a proper bleed. But this here lever might still have a bit of dirt in it, so I might do it. I'll know I'll know later on if I want to do it or not. Shifter's working fine, and then we need to clean all up this here. This is that goes on your steer tube. This here protects your cables from rubbing into the steer. We're going to clean all the spacers, we're going to clean all this up, and then we're going to get the bearings and all, and we're going to clean all that too, you know. But I'm really happy how them forks turned out, because they were in serious need of attention. Because the damper, there was a lot of bubbles in it and it was aerated, so yeah, we needed to get them sorted, and they're like new. So they are. I'll just set that back there. So what I'm going to do today is take off the rocker link here. But before we take the rocker link off, we're going to take this headset bearing out, the seal, because you can't actually take this completely off the bike. To get this here bearing out, you need to hammer underneath and take the whole cup out, but we don't want to be replacing any cups. But that's turning smooth. All we need to do is take the seal off and pack it full of grease, and she'll be good to go. And then we're going to take the rocker arm off, and we're going to check the bearings and see what ones need changed, or if we can, you know, fix a few bearings, you know, with grease. Well, I'll know when I take it apart. There's no point putting the inner gear cables through until you get everything installed and checked on the bearings, and then we can do that. And then the fella who owns this bike, dead on so he is, but he told me that some of the oil went on the disc rotors, so I'm going to spray them isopropyl alcohol, see if we can get them free contaminated, you know, get the contamination out of it. because he said whenever they pushed the brake lever in, the piston completely fell out and the oil went everywhere, so it probably is over the discs. So we'll check them there. All wheel bearings, 3 hub bearings, they are all re-greased, they're all checked, they're all in good working order, they don't need replaced. They're good enduro bearings. So they are. But yeah, the wee bike's going to be looking mint. So before you take your shock apart, it's a good idea, give it all a good clean, see all that mud and stuff. Make sure you completely clean that off, because you don't want any dirt getting in. When you take the air cannon off, you're just going to make yourself have more work to do. And I always use isopropyl alcohol. Just a wee bit, you don't need too much like for the external part. Sag indicator, take that there off. We're going to clean that too. That there, not. As you can see, it's filthy. Set that up there. Give myself a bit more room here. And that bushing's in good condition. That bushing is in good condition because I can't feel any play in it or anything, so it's good. Usually if I was playing that, you'd be able to push it out with your finger, but I have to use that tool to get it out. Still a good bit of life in that there. Just a wee bit of surface on it. Dirt. And just spray a wee bit of alcohol on it. Yeah. There we go. So we're going to put them like that. So they click in together. That's another thing. If you're not sure what way things go, it's always good to put them like that. I can remember, but it's easier to remember where it is, parts and stuff. I'll put that back. Now, next part is critical. Make sure you release all the air out. Make sure, right, so that's fully closed. Make sure you're in the fully open position. Release all this air out and release it very, very slow. Do not do it fast. We're riding away with 5 clicks. And don't forget, every time you hook a shock pump up, you lose about 3 to 5 psi. So whenever you're putting your pressure back in, make sure you add 5 psi back. No, 3 to 5. No. Change of plans. Gonna have to order another shock pump because my Fox one just does not work for the rear shock. It's the first time this has ever happened. So as you can see, we're engaging all the threads, so I can't tell how much air pressure is in this, but I'm still taking it apart to do the aircon, and it doesn't register to anything. This here shock pump is not compatible with this here shock for some reason. There's just not enough deep enough threads to go down to hit the wee valve there, so we're going to do it the old fashioned way, but you still want to kind of release this kind of slow, or the shock is going to suck back up into itself from here, and you don't want that because that's going to cause a lot of pressure build up. Just need a wee small on key here. As I say, you still want to do this nice and slow. I don't think it's a faulty valve, like. It's just the threads, not their pumps, just not, you know, connecting it. I'll try it like this. We'll have to press it a wee bit, just let me see. Just don't think the threads go enough for the register. Yeah, that's right up, and yeah, there's nothing. So now we've released a bit of air right out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take the wee inner valve out. Just by doing this nice and slow. You don't want to do this fast. Make sure it connects into that. There we go. Nice and slow. Now there's no danger from the aircon side, but you don't want to take the damper apart unless you release air out of this, but we're not going to do that there. We're just doing an aircon service on this here. We're not taking the full damper apart because the shock's in good condition. I'm just going to check the wee valve. Might replace the wee valve though, like I did with the other one. I think I've got another spare one somewhere. Just make sure it's the same size. Don't have to buy more in. Run a low on it. Make sure we're all the same. Yeah. Double check. Yeah. Make sure that works. It does. So there's completely out of that. So we're going to put the new one in. Just put this back in. There we go. Then, just to make sure, you know. So replace two valves, one on the fork and also one on the rear shock. To take this apart, it's not that hard. So it's not. Make sure your dials are in the fully open. So that's closed, that's fully open. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to hold here with a lot of pressure, and we're going to try and turn this here until it starts coming loose. These things are usually on pretty darn tight. Oh, man, that's crazy. Where's a bit of isopropyl alcohol in this? That is super duper tight. Oh man, that is crazy. What I'm going to do, put it in the face and then put this on so nothing gets damaged. Make sure that's tight. So, what you there? Right. Man, that is crazy. Jesus. That is crazy tight. Right, this is coming off. So what I noticed here whenever I released the air of this, there's like a wee, hear that inside the shock? That sounds to me as one of the O-rings might have just had its final use, and the shim inside, there's like a wee spacer here. You'll see when I take it apart. I think that's what's wrong with it. That, you know, you can hear that rattling about in there. The wee O-ring is probably worn out. That happens a lot on these model of shocks. Before you take the air can completely off, I'm going to spray a bit of alcohol on this because it's quite tight and I need to get a good bit of grip because, Jesus, man, this air can has probably never been off in its life. It's still tight, man. It's crazy, man. That's mad. How tight that is. Take that off there. That's better. So what I like to do for a safety feature is I put a cloth on this. Even though the air is out of this, there could still be negative air trapped. So what you want to do is get a cloth and put it onto the edge. Put that through. And also safety glasses for this, just in case. There we go. See that? Wee bit of air was left in the negative chamber, because you've got negative and positive chambers inside shocks. And we're right down to the near the last thread here. Now what we're going to do is push this down a bit. Oh, that's a lot of pressure. As you can see, there's still a bit of pressure in it. So now that we've got that off, what we can do is take my safety glasses off now. Do not take the damper apart, by the way, just take your aircon off. You take the damper apart while there's air inside the piggyback. These are usually filled with nitrogen or air from the factory. Do not take the damper off in any circumstances, because you can end up with a serious injury. You know what I mean? More than high pressure and all, you know what I mean? Like, you can cause yourself serious damage. And what we're going to do is we're going to push this down. We're going to take this cloth out now, there's no more danger. Push down, keep pushing, it'll take a lot of force until you break past this. There you go. Alright. Oh god, oil smells terrible. Put this and put that cloth away. And then we're going to take off this wee springy bottom plate. Always inspect as you go. It's in good condition, no damage. And to remember what way it goes, just place it facing up, and it goes up that way. Seals don't look too bad. There's that wee, yeah, that there O-ring. Yeah, don't know if you can see on camera, but yeah, that O-ring needs replaced. Definitely. Look at it. I don't know if you can see on camera, but you see that wee tear in there? That's what you need to look out for. This is why you do an aircon service. So we need to go down and we need to go and get a seal, because this here's not gonna keep that there nice and, is it? That seal definitely needs replaced. I don't know if I've got one this size, but you can see the tear there, as you can see. Look at that there. So I might be going down the Mac Monkey way, and we might have to get an O-ring for this, just maybe a basic service here. Damper, I'm going to press this down just to see what the damper's like, you know, make sure it's facing forward. Damper feels okay, you know, there's no noise. I don't hear any aeration, and the rebound and all, it's all working as it should. As you can see there, rebound, and it's at the super slow position. We're going to put it really down, there we go, and then when you open your rebound, it'll speed up. As you can see there, that's sped right up. So that's definitely working. And see, when you're cycling this, you want to make sure that you can get full travel with this, which we can, and it's silent, so just needs a basic aircon service. The way this one is designed, I probably will end up just doing the damper in this too, you know, because if that O-ring's bad, I want to be able to check the rest. That's not good at all. I'm actually going to take this whole thing apart as far down the damper so we can bleed it, but I'm going to have to order oil because that O-ring is definitely nicked. As you can see, this is why you do aircon service, to get an inspection of your, you know, shocks. I know the damper and all's alright, but still I'm going to take this all apart, you know, because to change that seal we actually need to take the damper apart anyway. So yeah, it's going to have to come apart because if that seal's nicked, it's going to cause damage, you know. Yeah. This here's why I always usually check an aircon to make sure of what the O-rings are like, but this one is definitely needing replaced. It's so loose. This happens a lot on these ones. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to clear this table, I'm going to put all these cloths down, and we're going to start stripping this down. And as I say, do not loosen this damper part until you release the nitrogen or air that's inside the AFP, because if you do, you're going to end up with serious injury. And then the aircons too, always release the air first, you know. That sticker's even trying to come off. So yeah, even though that damper is working, we definitely need to change that seal. So make sure it's in fully open. Aye, so it's one of them things. Right, as I say, safety glasses, because we're going to release the nitrogen that's usually in from the factory. So before you take this apart, you want to depress the air, and there'll be a wee clip in here. Just loosen this off. Sometimes they can be a bit tight. Just a wee dust cover, and then they're quite tricky to get out. You need good tools like to get these. I'll show you how small they look. And sitting there coming out now. There we go. So that's that there. So the way I like organising things, this will be the air side, this will be the damper side. I've always done it like this. And there's a wee valve in there, and all we need to do is depress it. Use a wee onk here. And the way I'm going to depress it is we're going to put a cloth over it and do it like this. And the reason for that, you don't want to breathe any of this in. Get this in through here. Well, that's hard to do. I'll just point it away from it and do it this way, because it's just been a bit tricky. And stand back, do not breathe that in. Make sure all that's out. That stinks, that stuff. So that's completely depressed. You can go ahead now and take it out after, but I'm gonna push this down. Make sure we're all in the fully open position, by the way. Push this down, there'll be a circlip. Alright. This is your IFP, there'll be a wee floating piston inside here. Alright. What we're going to do is we're going to put the cloth We'll use something thicker than that. We'll use this here. I'll just use this here actually. I will say one thing, whenever you do loosen these, make sure you do it slowly. See what size we are. Maybe a 17, let's see. Nope. 18. Nope. 18. Maybe bigger. Maybe this one at the top, let's see. Too big. It's a 22, I need a 20 crow's foot. Don't have one, but I've got one on the way. No big deal, we can use one of these, so. Need a 20. It's a 19. Sure should fit. Make sure it's turned the right way. This is a 21. Let's see. It's a 21. Strange that. Oh, that's quite tight, boy. Yeah, it's super tight. Might have to use a bit of heat on this to get this off, but before we do that, we need to, so these seals might be in good enough condition, but we just really want to replace that one, and I'll need to take all this apart just to see the rest of the seals, but we'll take these apart just for now. Because that's not good having my sealer bar broke, well, worn out. So just want to take these off. You want to be careful you don't scratch anything. And then this here, seal here. Spray that over to the edge. That'll come off. So that goes on first and then that's second. Bigger seal at the top. And I think we're going to put a bit of heat on that because I have tried to loosen that off and it ain't going anywhere at the minute. I'll try it one more time, but I think I'm going to need to put heat on it. Yeah, it's quite tight. So we're going to put a bit of heat on this here. Get these out of the way a minute. And we need a wee bit, we don't need a lot. And hopefully this will come loose. If not, then we'll have to go to a different method. Man, she's super tight. Right, that's super tight, so what I'm going to do is push this AFP up and take this spring out. Right, so to take this, because I think there's so much pressure built inside the damper, I'm going to release it from here if I can, hopefully. Because I just think there's a lot of pressure built up in this. Because I can't take this apart. It kind of tells me that there could be a lot of pressure in this. But we will see in a minute. We're just going to do this down here. Nice and slow. Yeah, a bit of bubbles on the air. It's aerated a wee bit, not much, but not as much as an X2 aerates, but it definitely is. Let's see if you can see this here. It's like foamy. So you can see all that, that's foam, that there oil. Just so that's, there was pressure in that. Yeah, there, it's all gas and foamy. Just cycle this down a wee bit. There that there. Seen worse like, but get all that out. Alright. Should be wearing gloves like, but stuck for time. Jesus, look at that there. You can actually hear that. Yeah. You just don't believe me about aeration. Even though your shock should sound good. Look at all that bubbles and that gas. That's inside your damper. All that air, not good. And I was even testing that there and it even felt good in my hand. So it just shows you, stripping these down is the best way. You know. Now you should be able to take that off relatively easy now, hopefully. But before we do that, we're going to take this part out. We're going to turn this here to make sure that's going there. Push this up. This is your IFP, an internal floating piston. And be careful, here's a wee circlip. And you just want to get underneath it. One side, push down. They are usually quite tight. I'll push that IFP a wee bit more down if I can. There's a bit of air in it. And we have depressed it, but we're going to press that wee valve again, yeah. Still a wee bit of air in it. Let's see. Right, so hold that there. Just want to keep spinning back. Right, so we've got one side down, hopefully it stays down. And then you want to come in underneath this. Put that down there. And then try and get underneath. And pop it out. They are quite tricky, these things. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to push the IFP down more. Alright. And then we're going to push this down and then we're going to pull up. And there we go. Out. And then what we'll need to do is get a bendy pick. And pull up nice and gently. Right, gonna try and take this off one more time, and if it doesn't, then we'll try something else. I want that round over way. Man, that is super tight, like. A bit more heat in that. That is wild. Should not be that tight, like. That's crazy. Jesus. That was tight. Now that's kind of loose. What I want to do is take this off. Man, that was crazy. I'll put this up here, man. Set that there. But then wear my hands and wear gloves because this stuff is really bad. I should be wearing gloves. If you're doing this, do not do this without wearing gloves. Right, wasn't expecting to do this, but that's what happens when you take an aircon apart. Sometimes you'll find problems, and that sealing there is about to fail, so that there, we need to take the whole damper assembly apart, everything, and check the rest of the seals. All these seals seem in good condition, but we might have to get a full seal replacement. Well, we'll just have to see once we strip it more down. So that's what I'm going to do. Get the whole thing right down to the shims and everything. But before we're going to take anything else off, we're going to clean this whole damper unit. So we are inside. Make sure there's no scratches inside the damper. Yeah, it's okay. That's in good condition. Just want to say, see, whenever you're taking this apart, make sure you've got a pick, and then we're going to put the pick down like this once this is loose, and then we're going to lift it up from the bottom. If you don't do that, the shims could go everywhere, and these need to be in the right order. If you get them wrong, you would need to take it to a suspension technician or something to get that sorted. So always when you're loosening this, make sure you lift it within the seal, you know, this here wee seal pick. Sometimes when you take this apart, the nut mightn't come loose, it might move the whole shaft, so sometimes that happens, just depends. Yep, there's no wee shim kind of head. Right there. So we're going to lift the whole thing. And you do not want to lose the order of this. Make sure there's no shims there. That's your internal floating piston. So that separates the oil and the air, and then this will float up and down, and it'll be in here at a certain depth. You have to set it. We're just checking everything. So we are, and then most importantly, you want to check to make sure there's no scratches inside the AFP. Because if there were scratches inside this part, that'd be an expensive day. Looks good so far. And here's this bad seal. I'll show you here. Yep, as you can see there, look at that there, the seal has failed. Well, let's see if we can see it in the camera. Yeah, look at that there. Hopefully you can see the marks all over it. Yeah, that is well stretched out. You can tell. Yeah. Yeah, it's not good. See, right there. See that wee part lifting up? Look at that there, it's starting to come apart, look. Yeah, so that's why we needed to strip it this far down to the damper, because the only way to replace this is taking the damper apart, and then we're going to check the damper seals too. But it is an important seal, because this is your wee washer plate and stuff. You know, you just want to check this here. Well, yeah, look at that. Yeah, that is bad. That should be completely straight. But look. Have a look at this here, folks. Okay, we're gonna need new parts. By the looks of it, this is bottomed out so hard. Look, that should be completely flat, but it's not. So, because this seal has failed, then this here has bottomed out so hard, and it has bent. So it has. That's not good. So, further inspection on that there, I can't believe it. But the shock has a bit of damage here. This here plate is bent with enough force that it has actually bent that. So that has been a big bottom out at one stage. So you'll have this sitting here, you'll have your O-ring. The O-ring has failed, there is a slice in it. But this thing has bottomed out so hard that you can see here that should be completely flat, and it's not. So we need a new one of them. What I'm going to do now is individually check all these shims, every one of them, and to make sure that there's none cracked or anything, and then I'll put them back on. I'm going to do now is leave that sitting the way it is, and all these shims, I'm going to leave all them like that so they don't get misplaced or lost. And what I'm going to do now is just take these seals out of this, and first we're going to take off this wee dust ring, and we're going to take a pick for these here seals. Being stubborn. I'm going to take this quad ring seal out first, that's what I'm going to do. If I can, that is. But we do need to replace these. So we do, I think. There we go. So it's there. And this one will be easy to come out now. Just get another knife, push it down, go, push that out. Check there's no scratches inside an aircon, there shouldn't be, but if there is, then it can let air escape. Just make sure there's no scratches. Nope. There's the wee marks though, but that's just standard wear. You'd get them over a few years out of that as long as there's no scratches. That's the most important, no scratches. Right, that's go there. So there. That goes up there. And take this seal off here. This is your IFP. Bushing is in good condition. There is a bit of wear, but not much. And what we're going to do is we're going to get this wee seal in here. And get this out. There we go. Should I go there? Don't be see the camera, but you can see the stress on them sails. You know, they're like wee lines and they're just stressed out. I think this is going to need a full seal kit. Tell you the truth. Right, so it goes there, that's for the FP, that's for there. Seals do degrade over time, folks. All I'm going to do now is just clean everything. Just quickly. And there'll be a seal probably in here too. Just want to make sure everything's super duper clean. Make sure there's no scratches on that shaft. Check that seal there. There we go. And then we're going to take out the volume token here. Make our lives a bit easier, we'll take this out. Where do we'll use a plastic one here so we also won't scratch anything. Put it underneath. There we go. See how many volume tokens he's using. Looks like 2 so far, but I'll make them more. That's 1. These are a lot harder than the Fox ones to take out. So they are. They've been on there for some time. I'd rather use a plastic pick for this because you don't want to scratch anything. There we go. There we go. Both the same size. And go there, volume tokens, and spray them down here. And we are going to leave that like that for now, because we need parts.
was drifting out of time. No clear reason, no defined line. But when you came, the dark withdrew. Every sound began with you, with you. I see reflection out of reach, a fading light along the beach. The world dissolves beneath the stream, and I'm just dreaming.
So first one, always mark to go on to this part first. It has to go onto the top of this part because there are two different parts here. Right, so the blade part, these blade parts face down, so that's one way to remember that.
Just dreams fade within. Just dreams again.
You gotta be careful because all these shims are different sizes. They look small, they look all the same but they're not, they're different sizes. You can actually feel how thin that one is compared to the rest there.
It's all I see. It's all it seems.
And then
The night unfolds. I see it clear. A distant sound
so you can remember all this here goes on first like this,
through every line,
and then you'll not get mixed up.
through every dream.
So this will go on like that, all these shims will go on here, and then when all this is on, this will go down like this, and then start from these and work your way back. Quite a lot of shims. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. About 23 shims, give or take, yeah, about 23. Look at the dirt in there. Jesus. Right. A lot of wear marks are on the wee rebound adjusters. That happens over time, but there's enough ridges left that it's not gonna damage it or anything. There's still plenty of life left in it. Just checking this just to make sure. Line these up with like that. Yeah, that's fine. Just making sure that's not going to come out. It's not. Good. So we don't lose these, just put them back in. Close the things like that. There we go. It's not going anywhere. The same as this one.